According to ESPN New York, these are the top trade targets for the Knicks. We got Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid. Oh, God. Paul George. And then Donovan Mitchell closes out the list. So for Paul George, there has been reports about Paul George. It is unfortunate, but it's not like we haven't heard it before. Last year, we were talking about getting Paul George, and the only reason we didn't is because Paul George raised his hand and he said, I want an extension, guys. Leon was like, nope. We agreed to trade for you. We didn't agree to give you mad money, so that wasn't going to happen. So unfortunately, we didn't do anything with Paul George. So the next slide that we have here is coming from, obviously, Evan Cedardy. He comes from Sports Illustrated, and he gives us a following update about Paul George and potentially him being an underrated target for the Knicks. The report reads as follows. Paul George is an underrated target to potentially monitor for the Knicks. Last summer, New York was in serious contact with the Clippers leading up to the 2023 NBA draft. If George decides to opt in and the trade route exists, New York can create an almost identical salary matching players Julius Randle and Bojan Bogdanovic. George is also rep by CAA and the power agency that the Knicks represent with Leon Rose, because Leon Rose obviously helped run CAA before he came to join the Knicks. So there's the report that we have here. But here's the thing. Here's my comments on that. Paul George for Julius Randle? You want me to trade our 3-time All-Star, just made an All-Star team again this year, even though he's dealing with injury, for Paul George? Paul George not only is, okay, let me break this down a little bit better because I don't want to kill Paul George. He's a good fit. Great player. He actually played way more games this year than I thought he was going to. But I'm trading for Paul George and giving up one of my best players in the process? Are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? I'm not doing that. And aren't they friends? Wouldn't I want to pair Paul George and Julius Randle together? Wouldn't that be the goal? Why, oh why, would I separate the two? Why would I do that? It doesn't make sense. You want to add them together. And it doesn't also make sense because the cost of trading for Paul George will not make sense. If he opts in and you trade for him, that means you're trading for what, a year? You're trading for a rental? You would be okay trading for 1 year of Paul George. That makes sense. What if he walks? If he walks and you trade for him, why did you trade for him then? He left. And maybe people are going to want to say, he's CAA. Don't worry. We're definitely going to re-sign him. This, that. Going back to re-signing him. You want to re-sign Paul George, even if it doesn't mean the Knicks get to the NBA Finals, or maybe we get to the Eastern Conference Finals and we don't get to the NBA Finals. You're still going to want to re-sign him? You're not going to want to look around the league and see if there's better fits around the league? You think an aging Paul George is going to help this Knicks team in the future? We have to look at age timeline. Who fits this Knicks team right now? Is it Paul George? Because in my opinion, Mikal Bridges fits this team and our timeline right now. He is the perfect fit. Is Paul George? How many games before Paul George gets injured playing the Tom Thibodeau way? Because that's the number one thing everybody's going to say in the comments, right? The number one thing that happens when the Knicks get Paul George, how many games is he going to be active for? Is he going to be able to survive Thibs? Is he going to be able to play 74 games this year? I don't know how many games he played this year. I think it was 70-plus games. Shout out to him. That's a lot of games for Paul George. But how many games would he play for the Knicks? You got to remember, the way you play for the Clippers, way you play for Cleveland or all these other teams, would you play that exact same way under Tom Thibodeau? No? Why would you? Tom Thibodeau's style of play is different. 40 minutes under Tom Thibodeau probably doesn't feel like 40 minutes in OKC. Probably doesn't feel like 40 minutes with the Pistons. Probably doesn't feel like 40 minutes. Who else doesn't play defense? With Charlotte, right? It doesn't look like that. It doesn't feel like that. Hard-nosed defense for 40-plus minutes. not resting that much, being in a very high level condition player, because Tom Thibodeau, he demands that out of your team. He demands that you are a high level condition player. So you're going to have to be that when you come to this team as well. All of those factors coming into it, Paul George surviving, he might not even survive training camp. Are you kidding me? I'm not trading for Paul George unless it's a deal that I can't ignore. It's a steal or something like that. It would have to be an offer that I could not say no to. I'm not saying no to Paul George, the player, because I can understand why people would want to go after him. But the fact that he's due so much money, the fact that you would have to trade up so many assets in order to get him, and his injury history. I don't know, guys. He's not the right player for me. I don't think he fits this roster as much as a lot of other people think. I understand the scoring. I understand that potential. But if I had to trade for Paul George and give up Julius Randle in the process, there is no way on earth I am doing that deal. Ever. Julius Randle understands Tom Thibodeau and the way he plays ball. Paul George doesn't. But you tell me, guys, in terms of players, in terms of player fit and best player available, tell me who you think is the best player on the list and who's the best fit in terms of player on that list. Because I want to hear from you guys and see what your comments are. And again, I want to retain Randle. Why are we trying to ship off Randle? Why are we trying to take Randle and put him in the doghouse? What has Randle done in the last few years that has made him so hated? I get the thumbs down, but after that, I think he's done a lot to basically up his value and up his recognition with Knicks fans. He's not been a complete hated player, and a lot of people have gotten behind him over the last couple of years and love what he's doing and his impact. He's part of the core. You have Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and then you have OG Anunoby. That's your core. You have Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart. That's your bench. And then you have other role players like Miles McBride, obviously off the bench. Hopefully you can keep iHeart in this. And then with the other, players that you have, other spots that you have, you go out there and you try to get a star. But the Randle hate has to stop at some point, because I get that we want to upgrade the team. I get that we want to get better. And I understand if we're going after a superstar player, there is no way we're getting that superstar without including Randle. But I'm not going to include a Randle trade unless that player on the other end is going to be a Giannis player or somebody of that level. Because in my opinion, that's the only trades that make sense. If you're not getting those type of players, a Luka, a Giannis, a Joker, I'm not trading Randle. Because again, he's giving you superstar level type of stats. Look at what he's doing. If he's giving you all of that, the impact and what you get back has to match. If you enjoyed these clips from the live show, be sure to subscribe to the channel and have notifications turned on so you don't miss any new episodes or when we go live. Thanks for watching, Knicks fans, and until next time, peace.